Alright, so we are going to be going through the Gear Hub tier by tier, talking about what you should and should not get as a free-to-play player, ending it off at tier 8 with the best final free-to-play hangar possible. Well, there's a lot more than one good free-to-play hangar, but we'll get to that when we get to them. At any rate, my goal here is to make sure that you're getting the best stuff possible while also spending the least amount possible. So we're just going to be toggling between the mechs and the weapons here. Starting off on tier 1, pretty simple. You start off with Paragon and Autocannon 4. Lancer's part of the tutorial, as well as RPG 2, I believe, yeah. And then apart from that, just buy Thermal Lance 2, which is the cheapest one out of all of these. And then you can move into tier 2, no problem. So that's tier 2, it only costs you 300 extra credits. When you end tier 1 and enter tier 2, your hangar should look like this. In tier 2, you should absolutely get Slingshot first. Slingshot is your priority. It only costs credits, same as MD, but this one is way, way better. It will be absolutely broken if you're in tier 2, I can absolutely promise you that. After that, get MD because it's cheap. In terms of weapons, your priority is Shotgun 4. You will also have to get Shotgun 8, but Shotgun 8 does cost 8 coins. In addition to those two, you will want to get Long Arm 8, Javelin Rack 4, RPG 6, and Plasma Cannon 4 and Plasma Cannon 6. These are our low priority. This is just to get you into the next tier. All of that together is 18 tier stars, so now you're into tier 3. When you end tier 2 and you're moving into tier 3, your hangar should probably look like this. Some people might put Javelin Racks on Slingshot, but the shotguns are much better if you actually put some skill behind it. In tier 3, you need 24 tier stars to get to tier 4. Now, if possible, as a new player, you should use the promo code MIDGAME to get Guardian for free. This is easily the best rare mech. So getting it for free will save you a lot of A-coins, but if not, you will have to buy that with A-coins. You will also want to buy Ares. Ares is stupidly strong for new accounts, and it also only costs credits. Skip over Shadow, though, it's not worth getting. For the weapons, your priority will be Ember Gun 6 down here, as well as Fragment Gun 6 and Cryo Launcher 6. Down here. Now those alone will not get you to the next tier, so you'll have to get a couple other things. These are low priority items, things that you probably will not use much, if at all. And those would be Missile Rack 6, which is pretty decent but has like a stupidly long reload time, and Pulse Cannon 6. I would encourage you to stay away from like Fusion Cannon, Arc Torrent, or really especially any epic thing that costs A-coins. Because it's a lot of A-coins that you're spending for a 6 energy weapon. Absolutely not worth it. You'll replace your 6 energy weapons almost immediately. It's tier 3 to tier 4 for 1.1 million credits. If you also had to get Guardian, then that's another 1125 A-coins on top of that. Pretty big jump from tier 3 to tier 4 in terms of like total cost. When you're in tier 3 and you're moving on to tier 4, your hangar should look something like this, with the Ember 6 on Ares, Fragment 8s on Guardian. Anyway, from tier 4, you will want to get Arachnos, because you can get this for free from a derby event. If you somehow manage to not get it, then waiting a bit after the derby event ends, it should come back, and you should have another chance at getting it for free all over again. Arachnos is not good. I would recommend not spending resources on it, even though it only costs credits. You can easily get it for free. And then Stalker and Tengu are both decent, but they're not good enough to justify their cost. They're way too expensive, and you will replace them rather quickly. In terms of weapons, in tier 4, your priority is Storm Rack 6 here. This costs a lot of credits, but it does cost credits. The Stasis Beam 8 you should also be able to get for free from a derby event. If you don't, then I would recommend going for Quantum Gun 8 because it costs the same amount and is significantly better. Like if you're gonna buy one with credits, I mean. You should also get Fragment Gun 8, Ember Gun 8, Helix Rack 8 down here, as well as Rocket Mortar 10. Rocket Mortar 10 is your low priority one. You probably won't use it. It's just to get you those last few stars to get into tier 5. So when all's said and done, you're spending about 1.9 million credits to get from tier 4 to tier 5. Unless you can get both the Arachnos and the Stasis Beam for free, then you're only spending 1.4 million. So the cost increase is not too bad in that case. So when you end tier 4, your hangar should look something like this. Stormwreck 6 Ares, Longarm 8s on Arachnos, Ember Gun 8s on Guardian, and then a single Helix 8 on both the Slingshot and the Paragon. Tier 5, you will need 30 tier stars to get to the next tier. Your number one priorities are Aegis, and in terms of weapons, Disc Launcher 8. Those are very, very good. I would also get Zephyr for credits. Cheetah and Redeemer are not worth getting. They both cost A coins. Aegis also costs A coins, but it is worth getting. In terms of additional weapons, you will want the Nade Launcher 10, the Cryo Launcher 10. Both of those should cost credits, and they are both rather strong. The Quantum Gun 10 is another one. You probably won't use it. It's a low priority. So, get that last just to move you into the next tier. Though you will also have to get Fragment Gun 12. Now, with all of that added up, you will be 2 stars short, in which case I would recommend ranking up the Fragment Gun 12, which is going to be the cheapest, as well as ranking up the Aegis one time, which will not be the cheapest, but you will actually use the Aegis long term. You will be ranking it up anyway. So I would recommend doing it as soon as possible so that you can actually use that rank up to move you into tier 6. Everything added together, that's about 2.5 million credits and 7,500 A coins. When you end tier 5, your hangar should look something like this. Stormwreck 6s on Ares, Ember 8s on Zephyr, Helix 8s on Arachnos, Disc 8 on Aegis, and then Longarm 8 on Guardian. You could put the Fragment Gun 8s on Guardian if it's still an effective build, but more than likely at this point Guardian's going to be feeling a bit weaker. It's not going to be doing super well up close. But now we're in tier 6. You will need 30 tier stars to get to tier 7. Your priority is to get Panther. In terms of weapons, your priority will be Stormwreck 10, and you will also want to get Graviton 10 and Fragment Gun 12. The other mech you should get is Orion. Now, if for whatever reason you don't think you're going to enjoy using Orion, you could get Sentinel instead, because it is cheaper, it costs credits. But ultimately, Sentinel's really bad, but it's more cost effective to get a weapon that costs credits because it costs less credits for the same number of tier stars. But yeah, both of those mechs cost A coins. Now with all of that said, you will be 6 tier stars short. Once again, you're going to want to do some rank ups. If you don't know how the gear hub works, when you're in tier 6, if you were to rank up something from tier 4, it doesn't help you at all. It does not add any tier stars anywhere because you already have tier 5 unlocked. So the only thing that affects tier 7 here is when you buy and rank up things that are in tier 6. So I recommend trying to rank up all of these things while you are currently in tier 6. So the rank ups that you're going to want to do, first and foremost, Stormwreck 10. When you rank this up from 5 to 6, you will be able to use 2 of them. You see this equip limit. At 6 stars, you have equip limit of 2. This just means that you can use 2 Stormwreck 10s as opposed to only 1. Your next priority would be to rank up Graviton 10, and then rank up Ember Gun 10. In terms of mechs, you'll want to rank up Orion twice. That will get it to 20 energy. And then as well, you'll want to rank up Panther 1 time, but that gets you from 20 energy to 24 energy. The energy difference is actually not important because you don't have anything that can effectively fill this anyway. So this is a low priority rank up. And so all of that is 30 tier stars, 3.6 million credits, and 25,000 A coins. So when you end tier 6, your hangar should look something like this. You still have the Ember 8 Zephyr. Guardian now has the Helix racks. You replace the areas with Aegis and put Disc Launcher 8s. You have Orion with double Stormwreck 10. 10, and Panther with double Graviton 10s. And that brings you to Tier 7. One of the most common questions that I get is Surge or Eclipse? Which one's better? Surge or Eclipse? Which one should I rank up? Surge or Eclipse? It's just generally the question is Surge or Eclipse. And the answer is not super black and white because, in my opinion, they are about equal in value. The thing is, you want both of them. So at that point, it's a matter of which one do you want to own first? Which one do you want to have higher rank first? And in my opinion, I would say Surge is the one that's more valuable to get first. So you'll want to get Surge as well as rank it up one time. You also want to get Eclipse and rank it up one time. And these are the only two mechs that you should worry about. Your number one priority in terms of weapons is Stormwrack 12. You will want to buy it and rank it up. Now, this is the tier that you're spending a ton of A-coins in. So what you'll get after Stormwrack 12, I would recommend Ember Gun 16, as well as Minigun 12. After that, there's a couple low priority items, Cryo Launcher 16, as well as Helix Rack 16. That's just the cheapest way to get those extra stars to get into Tier 8. After the Surge and Eclipse rank ups, after the Stormwrack 12 rank up, you will be 1 star short. You'll want to rank up your Minigun 12 one time. Most of the good stuff is in Tier 7, so you don't have to really rush that. Now, when you end Tier 7, your hanger should look something like this. Minigun 12 plus an Ember Gun 8 on Eclipse, Ember Gun 12 and 8 on Surge, double Stormwrack 12s on Panther, Aegis and Orion with Graviton 10s and Stormwrack 10s. You can flip these mechs around if you want to. If you'd rather put the Gravitons on Orion and keep the Stormwracks on Aegis, that's up to you. You may have noticed at this point, I haven't been doing anything with the pilots because, yeah, the pilots don't count for tier stars, and what kind of pilots you have at any stage of the game is kind of up to you. But I do have mods on these because these should all be rank 6. Worth noting that if you're getting mods, you should probably get them for Surge first, then for Eclipse. And that brings us to Tier 8, which is the final tier that has anything for free-to-play. So the only mech you're going to want here is Nomad. You're going to want to rank it up just to get it to, a better energy capacity. As well as for weapons, you're going to want Stormwrack 16, which only costs credits, so that's pretty nice. You also want to rank it up one time so you can use 2. But ultimately, you're not trying to get stars to unlock Tier 9 because it's pointless. You can't get anything from there right now. So definitely if you're in Tier 8, just take it slow. So after those few things from Tier 8, you should be upgrading your mechs to try to get them maxed out as soon as possible, and your hangar should then look something like this. Minigun 12s on Eclipse, Ember 12s on Surge, Stormwrack 16s on Panther, Ember 16 and 8 on Nomad, and Stormwrack 12s on Orion. I mentioned at the start that there were quite a lot of free-to-play hangar variations, and so I'm going to go over those right now. It's easiest for me to go over them at the end here with everything maxed out, so that, this is the thing that I'm building toward, essentially. This first one that I showed with the Stormwrack on Orion, this is my personal favorite. This is the one that I think will do the best for most people. This next one with Stormwrack 12s on Nomad and Railguns on Orion, this is my next favorite. And then back to the second one that I showed with the Ember Nomad Stormwrack Aegis. So those are what I would consider the top 3. Now there's a lot of variations of those hangars and hangars that are just generally similar. Here's a few variations. There are 12 total. And of course, you could do whatever you want. You could personalize these even more if you really wanted to. But these are just the top 12 actual meta free-to-play hangars. Worth noting that this is also based off of feedback from friends, which I very much appreciate. In my original video concept, I actually wasn't going to include Orion at all because I didn't think it was necessarily that good. I think it is probably better than Aegis in hindsight. But, once again, just use whatever's best for you. But in general, I would recommend picking one of those 12 hangar variations and then working toward that. It is worth noting that all the numbers in terms of, the cost to get into the next tier, that is just the cost to get into the next tier. You're not counting rank ups that you're doing in the background that you might have to do. For example, you rank up Aegis one time, but you might have to rank it up 2 times if you decide to use it long term. So you'll have to rank it up one time when it won't actually help your gear hub tier. You'll also need A coins for pilots, you'll also need A coins for implants. So it's not accounting for everything. You know, probably sounds like a lot, and it is very expensive, especially in the higher tiers, but keep in mind that you don't need to get this in a week, right? There's no deadline for it. It's not that you need to save up 46,000 A coins to get from tier 7 to tier 8 and then spend all of it at one time. You don't need to save it up, you can get it over time. That's why I mentioned the thing about getting Surge first, because it does take a long time to get those A coins, but you'll have to choose which thing that you get first. In the Gear Hub walkthrough, I skipped over the Railgun 12 and the Minigun 16. You will have to buy one or both of those if you want to use one of those Hangar Variations that has the Minigun Panther or the Railgun Orion. And in that case, the Minigun 16 will have to just be an extra. In terms of the Railgun 12, you'll have to get that in tier 7. I would recommend doing that instead of getting one of the additional, like the Helix Rack or the Cryo Launcher 16s. Those two cost credits and the Railgun costs A coins, so it's going to be a bit more expensive, and you'll end up with one tier star more than you actually need. But at least you can save a few credits from not buying those low priority items to get the Railgun 12 if that is the thing that you want to go for. Otherwise, yeah, that is going to be a full walkthrough of the Gear Hub from free-to-play perspective. You can do what you want and experiment with different things, but if your goal is to get through the Gear Hub, get to a high-end hangar as quickly as possible, then you're going to need to spend as little as possible on pointless stuff, which means, you know, going specifically for the better items. But at the end of the day, you can replace any of these things with other stuff if you want to. I say in tier 3 to not get Shadow, but to instead get Pulse Cannon 6 because that's cheaper. You could opt to get Shadow because you think you'd really like it, and then as a consequence, you can just skip Pulse Cannon 6. You can do things like that as much as you want, but this is going to get you the best results for the least amount of effort possible. At least, you know, with the current standing of what's available for free-to-play. And yeah, with that said, hopefully this video was helpful. Otherwise, that will be it for me. Appreciate y'all. Take care.